Hey everybody, welcome back to Gardening with the Landscape Connection. I am Michelle, your host. We are in Northern Illinois, Zone 5. And if you like our videos or this is your first time here, please subscribe, comment below, like, and share with your friends. So right now we are experiencing a snow system, which we haven't had all winter long. So it's kind of fun that we're seeing some snow get on the ground. And it's gonna come over the next 3 to 4 days. And by the time we're all said and done, they're saying that we could have 5, 6, 7 inches. And even Saturday, they're saying, watch this one. We're not sure how much we're gonna get yet, but we're gonna keep our eye on it because I think they're afraid to commit to a large amount of snow in case they're wrong and they panic everybody. But while it's snowy out, it's a fun time to do some just crafts around the house. And I know at my house, I like to keep fresh flowers on my dining room table. This is a box that I've used quite a few times over and over and over again. It's a nice wooden box, and inside of it I have put a piece of the Floral Oasis that I have soaked in water so that my stems can continue to drink. And I just like to use this one because it just lasts forever. Not forever, but for a couple weeks anyways, and then I can just change it out to a different arrangement and put it on the dining room table. So we had a bunch of boxwood left from Christmas, and it's still actually looking really super good. So I am going to use boxwood as one of my green fillers because it's winter and I still kind of want to have a little bit of a winter vibe, but kind of bring in a little bit of that spring vibe too. So I'm going to be using the boxwood. I'm also going to be using some Floral. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it always sounds weird when I say Floral. Anyways, I'm going to be using that as one of my greens as well. I'm going to put some pretty pink Gerber daisies in there just to give me that nice touch of spring. And then for some of my filler flowers, I've got this beautiful purple limonium, and then I've got some nice pretty pink wax flowers. And then I thought that in the middle I would make some vertical height, and I'm going to use these pretty bells of Ireland. So I have 3 of these that I brought with me. I also have some yellow tulips because I want tulips for spring. And I grabbed 3 iris, and so they're pretty tight, and I want to use these as well. And then I also went outside. I had to cut some curly willow for the girls, and so I cut some off of the tree that was really pliable that they could use. But then this one was laying on the ground, so I decided that I'm going to use this one as well. It's got some nice interesting roots. It's a little stiffer because it's sat and it's dried outside, but I figured what the heck, we're going to put some of that in there as well. And then I also grabbed a mushroom pod that I sprayed purple, and then I tipped it out in white, if you can see that, and I'm going to put that in there as well. So I'm going to use all or most of what I brought up, and we're going to create this pretty centerpiece with fresh greens and floral, and we're just going to get started. Okay, so I'm going to be using my little cutters here. These are my little mini cutters. I like those. And the other thing that I'm going to do is these are called Gerber daisy straws. And I'm going to insert the stem up in here, and what that does is it helps me see how it makes that nice and stiff and makes it kind of stand up, whereas before it didn't stand up as well. As you can see, one's leaning a little bit more, and even this one's even drooping a lot more. So once I put the straw on it, then I can have it go in the direction that I want it to. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is put these. Look at how nice that stands up now. Isn't that nice? All right, and then I'm just going to put these straws on here. All right, and what's really nice is you can go to the grocery store or garden center and just pick up some greens and pick up some flowers and go home and make this for yourself. I know that we made a bunch of winter boxes and fall boxes in these exact same containers here at the store in a class. So if you were in that class and you're looking for a refresh, come get yourself some greens. We actually have quite a bit of boxwood left out in the greenhouse. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually just going to break down the boxwood, and I'm going to be inserting this into my Oasis, and I'm just going to kind of make sure that I get it all the way around, and I'm going to put it throughout. And then what I'll do is I'll take the Floral and I'll use that as another textural element to fill in as well. So I'm just going to take my branch and I'm going to break that down into smaller pieces. And you have to just determine, you know, how high do you want your arrangement to be? Do you want it to be way out here? Do you want it to be more compact? And so some of that depends on, do you use your dining room table every day? Is this something where you want to be able to see over the top of the table at the person across from you and you can talk to them? Or is it something that's just going to sit there and look pretty, and so maybe you can make it a little higher or a little bit bigger? So right now, we only use our dining room table if we have family dinners, and then everybody comes over and we do sit around the dining room table. We do that once a month, so that's always fun. So we're not doing it until the end of February. And so this one, I might make a little bit higher because it's gonna go sit in the dining room on the table, and it's just gonna be that pretty, fresh spring arrangement that I'm kind of jonesing for. Because you know how when you put all your Christmas decorations away and then everything just looks crazy empty in your house? That's what's going on in my house right now. I feel like it's empty and there's just nothing going on. So I'm going to go ahead and get some of my Easter decorations out. I don't have very many. I just have a few that I scatter around. And then I'm going to put this beautiful centerpiece out. Now, one of the things you want to remember when you're filling this is if this is at a table and you're looking at it and you're looking at it eye level, you want to make sure that you can't see that green oasis because it is poking up a little bit above the rim of the container. And so you do want to make sure that you fill that in. And you don't have to fill in every solid piece with the boxwood, but you do want to get a good base. And as you can see, I'm just inserting this as I go into all the different places, and I'm leaving space in the center. And if you have to spin it around so that you can look at it and see it from all sides, feel free to do that so that you can see exactly what you're putting in your pot. And then I have a couple more pieces that I'm going to break down here and get in there. And I am going to turn this one around just a little bit here so I can see the other side and make sure that it's full as well. And then I do want to put some pieces in the center, so not just on the outside edges, and then make sure when you put them in the center that they're proportionate to pretty much everything else that you're doing. And if you do get a piece in there and it's too long, like this one I think is just a little bit too long, then you can take it out and trim it and put it back in, because you proportionately do want it to be pretty equal all the way around. Okay, so now I'm done putting in all my boxwood, and as you can see that looks pretty good, pretty full. The next one I'm going to use is my Floral. Okay, so this is a nice tropical, it actually is a tropical, I believe Floral comes like out of South America. So I'm going to add some branches of this in there just to create some textural differences. I'm not going to overwhelm it with this. I'm just gonna get it in here so that I have some things that are a little different. Okay, so see, now I've got a little, I think maybe I just need one more piece over here to kind of balance out the other side. And as you can see, I'm still keeping it pretty proportionate to the other size of the boxwood that I put in. I dropped one. So I'm gonna get another one here, and I'm gonna put one right here. So I kind of balance both sides. And as you can see, I mean, it's not a precision thing, it's a visual thing. And some people say, you know, I can't do it, but really, you just kind of have to sit back and look at it, and does it look balanced? Does it look pleasing to the eye? And so I like this, I like the way it looks. And the other thing you have to remember when you're doing a piece like this is, are you gonna see it from all sides, or is it gonna be one-sided? Now, because this is gonna sit on my dining room table, I'm gonna see this from all sides, so I do wanna spin it around and look at it periodically to make sure that I'm balanced all the way around. Now, I don't know how other people do this. I'm just gonna do this how I do it. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. I'm not a florist, and I have absolutely great florists that work downstairs. I watch them all the time though, and kind of pick up tips and tricks from them as far as how to make things look good. But I do know that I wanna create some height in the center. And so I'm gonna use these bells of Ireland, which are right here, and I'm gonna bring them in the center right here. And maybe I have to bring this back a little bit. So I'm gonna put those in the center so it creates my height. So I'm gonna cut these, and I'm gonna put them in the center, and see how they kind of droop to one side. And I do wanna create like a stacked look here where one is like, so there's two, and then I'm gonna put another one like a little bit lower. All right, so I'm gonna bring this, nope, that's not low enough. And did you know bells of Ireland actually have thorns on them? There we go. So there's my third one. And can you guys see that? See how it's 1, 2, 3? Maybe I have to bring it down lower. There you go. Now you can see that. Okay. Then what I want to do is I'm going to put the Gerber daisies in. And so the Gerber daisies are kind of like my focal point. And so I'm going to put, and you can cut through the straw to make them shorter. And I just cut right through that straw. And I'm going to put one right here. Okay. And then I want to put another one nestled right above that. So maybe it ends up like right here. So sometimes if you're not sure where to cut it, hold it up and then cut it long, and then maybe you have to cut it again. But it's better to cut it long than it is to cut it too short. And then the next thing you know, uh-oh, it doesn't work. Oh, I didn't get that in there very good, did I? Okay, I'm actually gonna trim this one a little bit more, just a little bit. And I am gonna trim my straw because it's getting in the way. So all I did was I just kind of went in and I cut off about that much of my straw so that I can use the stem. And what I'm doing is I'm holding onto the stem, and then I'm gonna insert it right into the oasis. And then I'm gonna spin this around and look at it. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, now because I am gonna see this from both sides, I am gonna put one on the other side as well. And again, I have to take my straw off and cut some of that straw. I think it's easier just to put the stem in the oasis than it is to try and insert the straw too. All right, there we go. So see, I want one on that side too, and then I have two on this side. So I like that a lot. So those are like my main focal flowers. So I always do my height first, and then I do my other flowers next. So the next ones that I want to put in are my iris. And so my iris, I kind of want to have those like right in here. I'm going to put two on this side and one on the other side. Now what's cool about iris is these are actually really super tight, and so they're going to last a long time. And I am going to peel this extra foliage off of here. I'm just going to peel that right off. Now, one of the things that you can do with an iris is you can actually take your finger and kind of tap that pod like this, and it will help start to open that. Okay, now those ones are really tight. This one you can see it was just as tight. See how it started to open already? And I did that by just tapping. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of just loosening up that iris that's in there so that it will open a little bit faster. Now, the one thing with iris, tulip, all those spring bloomers like this, the more they're exposed to warmth and heat, the faster they will open. So I'm going to put one there, and I am going to put one on the other side. I actually need to move my whole body back here. I'm going to move this whole table back so you can kind of see what it is. So here's my next iris. I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to put that one on the other side, but they're still kind of grouped together. And so then I'm going to take my last one and I'm going to put it on this side, but I'm going to put it over here. So there's my three iris in the center. And then I'm going to take my yellow tulips. So did you know that tulips keep growing? Isn't that wild? So I'm going to put these in, and I'm probably going to put them in a little shorter because once these get exposed to the warmth of the air, they'll open really super fast, but they'll also continue to grow. And so you might have to pull them out periodically to get them a little bit shorter because they keep growing. And some of them will lean to the left, lean to the right, and I just like to put them in and let them do their thing. And so I'm gonna spread these out, and again, I'm just pulling some of the outer leaves off so that it's easier for me to get them in the oasis. And I'm gonna have them kind of just sticking out in different directions, and I'm just gonna scatter them throughout the whole arrangement. Okay, well that one actually broke, but I still wanna give it a nice tip that's gonna drink. And so that's what the oasis is for. The oasis is to help it drink. And so one of the things that you have to do, especially in the winter, because your house is typically drier in the winter than it is in the summer, you're gonna want to make sure that you are adding water to the oasis so that everything can continue to drink. And again, I'm pulling off some of the outer leaves, some of them I'm leaving, and then I'm just gonna scatter these into the oasis throughout my arrangement, and I'm gonna keep spinning the arrangement around. Now I do have 10 tulips here. Typically that's what comes in a bunch when you buy a bunch of tulips is 10. Doesn't mean I have to use all 10, but I'm thinking I'm going to, because I really like that really nice fresh pop of color, and I'm making them different heights throughout the arrangement, and I'm moving them throughout. So again, make sure that you're spinning it around and you're looking at the arrangement to see, do you love it? And again, some of them I might keep really super long so that I have some that are, higher as well. And then I'm gonna put another one over here. And I used all 10. And then I'll spin this around and let you guys look at it. And then, so I've got my main flowers in here. Okay, Now I've got my main flowers in. And see, if I spin this around, I think that looks great all the way around, okay? Now the next thing I'm gonna do, because I have 2 flowers on this side and only 1 on this side, I'm actually going to use my mushroom pod here, and I'm gonna put that on this side. Let's see, I think I want it to be really low and more towards the front. Yep, so I'm gonna put that, and that kind of will give me some balance on this side since I put 2 and 1 here. Okay, so then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm just gonna move all my stuff over here, is I'm gonna get my filler flowers. So the first one I have is this wax flower, this pretty pink wax flower. And what I'm gonna do with this is I'm just gonna trim these, and I like to keep the filler pretty long, and so stems like this, you probably can't see that, I don't know, I'm just gonna throw that away. And then I'm gonna add some pretty filler in here, and I'm gonna add some here, and maybe a shorter one here. See how one is long and one is short right there. And then I'm gonna take another one here on the other side and put that in there. And I've got this one here, which I'm actually gonna take all of these little stems off right here that don't have any leaves on them. I'm just gonna trim those off because I really just want the ones that have the pretty leaves on them or the flowers. And I'm gonna move this one more like into the center here, like this. Okay, so kind of what I did was I have it here and I kind of brought it all the way around. I think this one's a little too long, so I am gonna trim it. And I'm gonna bring that down so it's more the same as like the rest of them on the other side. Because again, you kind of want that visual balance. All right, so then I'm gonna take my limonium. So that's this beautiful purple one here, and it's branched out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually go to where it meets the main branch, and I'm gonna trim those off and then keep that one. And I don't know if I'll use all this, but then again, I'm gonna look at this and I'm gonna visually go, where do I want some pops of color? So I'm gonna put some purple in there. I'm gonna take my other big branch here, and I'm gonna bring it over to the other side. Oh, I just love that. And then I'm gonna put a little one in the front right here because I feel like I need something purple right here in the front. Okay, then I'm gonna turn that around. See, isn't that gorgeous? I just love that. All right, and then I'm going to add some purple to the back side. I'm gonna put one right here. And again, I'm gonna take this and just trim it down a little bit shorter. And I'm gonna put one in the front. And then I'm gonna put one off to the side. All right, and then the last thing I wanna do is I wanna add some of this fun curly willow that I picked up off the ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna take my branch and I'm gonna kind of break it down. And I'm just looking kind of at the branching structure, and I don't want it to overwhelm. And so I end up getting rid of this main stem here, and I'm just going to use these fun wispy ones here, and I'm gonna add those in. And again, I'm just gonna kind of groom up the stem a little bit. All right, and I think I want it to go like this. I just heard that snap. Okay, so I snapped one off, and it is a little brittle, so I have to be a little careful with it. And I'm gonna take this one and put it down here. And I think this one's a little long, so I'm gonna trim it there. Okay, and then I'm gonna take this one. And again, I'm gonna look for, you know, come here. They're catching onto each other. All right, this one here I think is a little too long here, so I am gonna trim that. And then here, I'm gonna put this one over here. And then I'm gonna look for a piece to put vertically straight up and down, which I think is gonna be this one here. And I want it to do that, so let's put this one in here. I'll put one on this side, and then I'll flip and let me turn it just a little bit though, because I don't want it to poke my eyeball out when I sit down at the table. Okay, and then I'm gonna turn it, and I'm gonna put one on the other side as well. And I'm going to actually maybe take, no, I don't like that one. I don't know that I have the right piece. Here we go. I'm gonna take this real thin one right here. Right here, here we go. And I'm gonna put this one in, over here. There we go. All right, and then Last but not least, I'm gonna put one more piece in. It's got a little leaf on there, and I'm going to put it right in the center. Oh my, I'm really happy with how this turned out. Okay, so here we go. Now I've got this all done. I'm gonna move all of this off my table. Okay, so here it is. This is my arrangement that I'm gonna put on my dining room table. And really all I used was 3 stems of Gerber daisies. I used 3 of the iris. I used a 10-pack of tulips. I used 1 stem of the limonium, 2 stems of waxflower, and you could use other branches from outside too. Birch trees shed a lot of branches, and those are also nice branches to be able to use in this. Or if you had red twig dogwoods, you could always paint those like a purple or a pink and put those in here as well. I also used 3 bells of Ireland, and then I used a little bit of dogwood and the salal as my filler. So this is my beautiful arrangement that I'm gonna put on my dining room table. How cool is that? So, fun little winter project that you can do to bring a little spring in the house. I hope you enjoyed this and that you're inspired to go make yourself a little fun arrangement, or you can call us and we'll make it for you and the girls can deliver it. So I'm Michelle at the Landscape Connection. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye now. Turning off the camera. Here we go. See you later.